You think butter is butter? One switch in 2022 made Costco cookies spread, croissant sag, and buttercream flop, and most shoppers never got the memo. Today, we're naming 5 butters that quietly mess with your recipes and 5 that save them. Let's start with the red flags to spot on the label: fat content, salt load, and vague sourcing.
It looks, smells, and tastes like the butter we're all familiar with, but without the farmland, fertilizers, or emissions tied to that typical process.
The company is called Savor, and you better believe it. Their pioneering tech uses carbon and hydrogen to make the stick of butter you see on this In the middle of an industrial park in a suburb west of Chicago, something unprecedented is happening.
So you're using this gas right now to cook your food, and we're proposing that we would like to first make your food with that gas.
Then we'll show you the blind taste test winners, like the cultured and grass-fed options chefs actually use, so you stop paying for water and salt dressed up as value. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great, thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video.
Moving on in international news, Bill Gates is backing a new kind of butter, one that doesn't come from cows, crops, or even cooking oil. In Batavia, Illinois, a company is now producing butter from thin air using carbon and hydrogen, but it's made from lab-produced fat, water, a small amount of lecithin as an emulsifier, and natural flavor and color. Scientists are saying that it generates 0 greenhouse gases and uses minimal land and water resources, a process that completely removes farmland, fertilizers, and emissions from the equation entirely. Now the startup claims the finished product looks, smells, and tastes like the butter we're used to.
You grab the cheap brick thinking you just shaved a couple bucks off the bill. Then your cookies puddle, your pie crust slumps, and your pan sauce splits like it's trying to quit. The quiet switch is simple: less fat, more water. That swap hides in the fine print, not on the front. Let's start with the problem. Mass market stick squeeze cost by pushing fat toward the legal floor and bumping moisture. That breaks bakes. Butter is the scaffolding in dough. The fat sets the walls as it melts and steams. Raise water and those walls soften, spread out, and fail to lift. So the fix is not guesswork. You learn the red flags and you buy with intent. Now, the tension. A few years back, a major warehouse brand tweaked its formula: fat down, moisture up, with no banner, no fanfare, just new nutrition lines. Most shoppers only noticed when their go-to recipes started acting strange. That's why labels matter.
This is pretty novel to be able to make food that looks and tastes and feels exactly like dairy butter, but with no agriculture whatsoever.
And no long ingredient list the average person can't pronounce. They tell me to simplify. They take carbon dioxide from the air and hydrogen from water, heat them up and oxidize them. The final result?
It looks like a wax, like a candle wax at first. It's really just our fat, some water, a little bit of lecithin as an emulsifier, and some natural flavor and color.
How? Fats are made up of carbon and hydrogen chains. The goal here? Replicate those chains without animals or plants. And
they tell you how your butter will behave before your oven does. Salt makes it worse. Take budget sticks with a heavy sodium load per tablespoon. In a skillet, it passes. In cookies, it bullies the sweetness, slows browning, and paired with higher water, helps dough collapse. Salt binds water and holds it in the butter, so it hits your flour and loosens structure right when heat should set it. Sourcing swings add another layer. Store brands that pull from multiple dairies see batch drift. When fat creeps down near the floor, lamination turns gummy and pie crust bakes up dull instead of shattering. Add a label with recall chatter and surprise salt spikes, and you're juggling performance and safety in the same stick. But here's the kicker. Butter blends with oils cost more and perform worse. Oil stays soft at room temp, so sauces break and cookies go limp, and you lose that clean dairy snap and aroma. So what is the takeaway? 3 fast red flags: fat at or near 80%, sodium cranked up, and vague sourcing like from multiple dairies. See 2 out of 3, walk away. Now let's move on to the butters that actually hold a line under heat and make your dough stand tall. Let's start with the win conditions. You want butter at 82% fat or higher, clean dairy flavor, and steady churns that keep water in check. Those 3 show up in flake, lift, and emulsions that don't split. If your croissant layers look sharp and your pan sauce stays glossy, that's the butter doing its job. Now the pushback. Are premium bricks just staged boxes and a thicker foil wrap? We tested the doubt the simple way. Blind panels on taste, texture, and bake results. When you pull logos and price out of the room, the sticks with richer fat and tighter moisture leave clearer layers, cleaner finishes, and stronger dairy notes. Not hype, just physics. President from Normandy earns a slot. The flavor reads bright and buttery without tasting greasy. It holds shape on a warm counter, spreads clean on bread, and bakes into neat edges.
The company is currently supplying restaurants and bakeries with plans to expand to wider retail markets in the coming years. But as Nigeria grapples with growing concerns over genetically modified foods and the influence of foreign-backed innovations, the question is it going to complement local Nigerian farming and empower farmers, or slowly edge it out and disenfranchise them? This latest development raises important questions. Is this the future of sustainable food production? Or another change to approach with caution? In the context of Nigeria, if this butter is able to be locally produced, it could reduce our reliance on imported dairy. We'll take 2 tweets. Emilia Henderson says, Bill Gates wants you to ditch real butter for carbon cooked cup in a lab. They are feeding you chemicals while killing farming.
Chefs lean on it because it behaves at the table and in pastry. Truly grass-fed from Ireland brings a nutty, grassy edge and a firmer set. The higher fat helps lamination keep its rise, and the structure stays crisp longer. The nutrition perks ride along, but the main win is performance. Vermont Creamery's cultured butter adds a gentle tang from fermented cream. That depth helps sauces taste round, not flat. In cakes, the slower melt gives a finer crumb and steadier lift. On toast, it hits like dairy with a backbone. Plugra is the workhorse. Low moisture, 82% fat, and consistent from box to box. You get sharp layers in puff, a cleaner sauté with less spatter, and dough that acts the same on Tuesday as it did on Sunday. Kerrygold is the easy upgrade. Widely stocked, grass-fed character, and a stronger mouthfeel than standard sticks. It's a practical entry that boosts both pastry and everyday cooking without a specialty run. Here's your cheat sheet. Reach for 82% plus European style or cultured for baking. Keep a grass-fed block for daily use in pastry, and expect to use less because the flavor runs concentrated. You now have a simple map, so you stop paying for water and start buying butter that pulls its weight. Your butter should build structure, not sabotage it. When a label whispers 80% fat, high salt, and hazy sourcing, your dough hears spread, slump, stall. Butter is the beam in your bake. Shave it thin and the roof sinks. If this gave you something to chew on, like and subscribe to help us keep the spotlight on the food industry's best-kept secrets. Drop the brand that burned you in the comments so others skip the same mess. Next up, we're digging into butter crimes in restaurant kitchens, where blends slide in without a word and sauces break before the plate hits the pass.